And joining us now live from Warri, we have Charles Ajuyah, Senior Advocate of Nigeria and one-time Delta Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice to discuss this Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal judgment and other issues. Good evening and thank you so much for joining us. All right, historically speaking, it has become very difficult to win a sitting president in court. What do you think is responsible for this?
Well, it's a fact that throughout our democratic development process, we're not able to get uh, it easy to unseat a president elected. Um, that is because um, the requirements for that have not been met. Um, First and foremost, to be able to file an election petition, there are grounds upon which you can do that. And the burden of proof of these grounds, although it's on the balance of probability, but getting the evidence to do that, it's as good as the camera passing through the eye of a needle. Now, we must understand that most election petitions from time have been fought on the basis of irregularities, fought on the basis of non-compliance, etc. But the law says that for such to succeed, it must have substantially affected the election. But we come up with these same complaints all the time, and we're not improved on the type of witnesses we also call. I mean, the last that has just happened now, it shows that we need to get witnesses from virtually all the polling units in which election was conducted. And I think you appreciate that getting 100, at least 200 witnesses to come to court is an impossible task for the period which you have. You have 21 days to file the election petition, then you have a specified number of days to call your witnesses. So I think this, as the law puts it, it makes it very difficult to succeed on that. It's not a local government election. It's not a state government election, a state governor's election, or a councillor's in the ward. We're talking about the country, the whole of the country, to be able to get that evidence to show that there was irregularity or non-compliance. Sometimes we talk about other grounds of law, but I think all through we're not able to get it right. So the threshold for that, I mean, it's not something that is easy to do, understandably because of the position we're talking about. But that does not suggest that there could be one instance in future where that can be done, particularly if on a strong ground of law. And I think we'll be able to do that.
All right, the electoral law stipulates 19 days for the conclusion of trials after the election. But in that process, during that period, a president would have already been sworn in. Don't you think the president would then have more powers to influence the judiciary, as the case may be?
I have my doubt about that. I have my doubt about that. Yes, 90 days, specified number of days to do that. But we should also look at it too, that the 21 days is enough for the petitioner to gather materials to be able to fight this petition. I think no. But the point is that it does not really matter whether the 90 days, the petition is concluded 90 days, within 90 days and before the president is sworn in. It will not make a difference as far as I'm concerned. Because the evidence you require to do that, you must get them before you file the petition. So if you don't have that evidence, even if you do it, the president is sworn in, it will make no difference. So I think that the 90 days is not an issue. We kept on tinkering with the law and all and all. But the truth of it all is that we have enough and good laws. It's a process of application. I must say that it's quite a tedious work, for the court itself to do that. And we're talking about election for the president of the whole country. So if you have the petition before that, it's heard before that and concluded, I don't think it makes any difference. the material, the evidence you have is still
Aside
the
the number
evidence you
of
have.
days, but the fact that a president is sitting already,
Yes,
and there is a saying of the piper
yes.
dictates, the tune. So how about the influence of sitting presidents on the judiciary?
Well, I have my doubt if the president of the country will interfere. I have my doubt. But again, even if you drive this to its logical conclusion, take the other theory that the administration that just left power now is the same party. So there cannot be a vacuum in the presidency. There cannot be a vacuum. So the former president will be from the same party. Will you also talk about influence on that? But I have my doubt if the president will influence the tribunal. I'm not saying that there could not be one influence or the other. I mean, what we hear judges complaining and the others. But I do not think that the president will deliberately go out of his
All
way
right.
to influence that. But I'm sure that the judiciary we have in this country will be able to do the needful when the petition is
All right.
approved.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us on the news.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And that was Charles Ajuyah, senior advocate of Nigeria and one-time Delta Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, who joined us live from Warri.